Hello, my name's Lammy, and for anybody out there that knows me right about now, I'm sure you'll be expecting me to do something silly. However, that's not the case on this occasion because this is about a very serious matter of helping to insulate your home during these times of expensive energy and this cold winter in which we're living. Now, here in our kitchen, we've been getting very frustrated with the fact that this here cooker hood, there was so much cold air coming in through here. Now, this does have a flap on the outside of it, so you would expect that to stop the cold air, but it doesn't, and it was absolutely pouring in. So I thought, well, how can we combat this? But it had to be a method whereby it could be easily put in place when the cooker hood wasn't used and be easily removed when we wanted to use the cooker hood. So I came up with this idea using this material. This is that reflective insulation that you'll find behind your radiator. And this is just an offcut. So if you don't want to buy a whole roll, you may well find some at your local recycle centre or ask around. Perhaps somebody's got an offcut lying around. You need about 80 centimetres. Or ask a local plumber. They may have some as well. So what we first need to do is, if I open this hood, and I've actually got this turned off so that we don't have the sound of the fan going, and in here what you first need to do is measure between this point here and this point here. So you're effectively measuring the internal width of the cooker hood, and then close the flap, and inside here measure between here, the grill, and here the back of the flap. So between here the grill and here the back of the flap. Now our measurements here are 53 centimeters wide and 12 centimeters deep. So I took this material and I cut it down to 53 centimeters and then I rolled it up so that it was a tube. And you'll see on the end there's also a flap, and that's very important, and I'll come back to that in a moment. Now, in order to get the diameter right, you might need to mess around with that a little bit. So I used some bulldog clips to hold it temporarily in place, though you could use a piece of tape. The tape that I've favoured here is gaffer tape or duct tape, but I'm sure most self-adhesive tapes will work on this material. So we've rolled it up. We've got a tube, we've got that flap, and I kept trying it. And on this side, being me, I've written a note there saying which side is the top. And so that I'm going to do, and bear in mind I'm doing this with one hand, so it shows how easy it is to do. And I push it up into the gap, and because it fits snugly, it holds itself there. There's no need for any other fixings. And you can see here the flap that I was talking about, and that stops cold air coming in through what would be a small gap between the roll and the grill. It's an addition. Now, I say that fits snugly. However, at first, it didn't. It kept falling out. So rather than cut another whole piece of this material, with using the offcut, I curled that up, rolled that up into another tube and slotted that tube inside my main tube. And then working with it, putting it in place, taking it out again, putting it in place, taking it out again. I got it so that it was the right size. And then I held it in place with gaffer tape. And when I was finally really happy with it, I gaffer taped the whole thing to make it nice and stable. Now, when I put it back up, and remember again, take it out when you're going to be using the cooker hood, and just put it back in once you've used the cooker hood. And there's nothing to cool down or anything, so you can do it straight away as soon as you finish cooking, really. Now, if I open this up here and offer this up, as I say, even doing this one-handed, you will be able to see that fits snugly in there, and then you can actually then close the flap on it and everything's in place. Just have a feel, and if you feel any air coming through, just adjust it slightly. And the marvellous thing is because you've got those offcuts, if over time it gets a little bit loose, you can make adjustments, you can add pieces to it. And I hope that it works for you as well as it has done for us. And thanks for watching. And since we're filming this in December, Merry Christmas.